All right, everybody. This is Trey, your boy with Let's Just Talk Fitness. You already know, man. This is my third interview. Third. Yeah, I almost got confused. I thought it was my third interview for today. I had two other people before, and now, in some sense, I would say I saved the best for last. We got Shanie here. Hey, we got Shanie here, who is, again, I just picked up brain a little bit before I even pressed the button record. But I can tell y'all right here, right now, that you're going to find somebody very authentic and who is very excited to talk about fitness. But with that said, make sure y'all like, subscribe to the channel, share the video if you like it, man. Make sure that you comment below if you want to, want me to interview you, or you got somebody else that you want to send my way. Tag them in the video and definitely send them my way. But with that said, and if nothing else is all laid out and all is due, Shanie, I want to introduce you. How you doing?
Hey!
Hey.
Hello. Hey, everybody that is watching. Y'all, I'm excited. I'm like super excited. My name is Shanie. I am 31. I am a mom of a teenager. My daughter just turned 13. And
Oh, wow.
I currently live in Denver, Colorado. So if you're watching from Denver, hey y'all. If not, I'm gonna put the link out there so y'all can see what's going on, because you don't want to miss this. Like, I just feel like what's about to happen is going to be, if I say so myself, one of your best interviews that you may have done.
Wow. She said it, y'all, not me. She said it.
And that's not to toot my own horn.
But lay it out there.
I'm just saying, y'all, look, if you don't know me, you're gonna get to know me today.
I love it. And the fact that you are opening yourself up to be that transparent is exactly what I love, and why I love doing what I do. So first off, let's talk about where you are. You know what I'm saying? Well, first off, let me back it up this way. Were you born in Denver, Colorado? Have you always been in the Midwest?
Born and raised.
Wow.
Yeah, born and raised. Wow. Look, the hospital that used to be called Denver General is now Denver Health.
Oh, man.
So I've literally seen name changes, street changes, mayoral changes. I've seen everything that possibly I could have seen in the last 23 years.
Oh my goodness. What, have you not thought about moving outside of Denver? Is it because you love it there? Is it because you have
family? Oh no, it's not that I love it here. Don't get me wrong. I love Denver. Denver is a really nice city to visit. Colorado is beautiful. It's a beautiful state because there's so much of Colorado that I still haven't seen. It looks small when a lot of people find out that there's people in Colorado.
I know. I did not
think. They're like, wait a second, there's some of y'all out here, and I'm like, yes, we're everywhere. I promise you, we really are. Because a lot of times, we get, well, y'all got cows. Yes, we have cows. Yes, we have cowboys, but it's some peoples that look like us out here. But I've definitely thought about moving. I didn't move for the sake of my grandmother being here. She was the one that raised me. She was disabled. She passed last year. So now that she's gone, I really don't have no reason to be here. So I've been thinking about relocating. I just don't know where yet. Something I got to pray about.
Absolutely. And that's what's up. And my condolences for your grandmother. My condolences. That is amazing. And the fact that you actually stayed there I must commend that. That says a lot about your character. And I'm sure that she appreciated that more than anything.
Oh yeah, she was my right hand man, you know. But like I said, now that she's gone, I can start focusing on the next chapter of my life.
Absolutely. And again, that would be your first time moving outside of Denver.
Yes. Absolutely. Now I've traveled outside of Denver. I've traveled abroad. Yeah. I've been to places. But as far as actually living outside of Denver, it will be my first time living outside of Colorado.
That's beautiful.
And I'm actually excited. I'm excited, and I'm ready for a change. I'm ready for a new scenery and food.
What do you feel like made you ready for that change? This is a place that you've always known in some sense, or you've always been. What
I
made
think. Oh,
Mhm.
go ahead. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
I think because I still see some of the same faces.
That'll do
Like
it.
some of the, like some, like, look, as of tomorrow,
Mm.
it is tomorrow is my 13-year anniversary of me being out of high school.
Yeah.
And I still see some of the same people that I went to high school with.
Oh man.
And I'm like, okay, I'm ready for new people.
New people.
Yep, I'm ready to see new faces. I'm ready to meet new people. I'm ready to just experience, a different state, to experience what their customs are, and really just networking and seeing what is out there. A lot of people are scared to move out, to step outside the box. And I can't lie and say that I haven't been, excuse me, because I have for a while, but it's like the only thing that's holding me back is me.
I love that. I love it. So having that level of self-reflection, the last interview I just did, he was very big on that. And I hear the same from you. That is, in some sense, knowing where you are and being aware of that, being aware of what's holding you back or what's not holding you back. So having that aspect and that sense of thought, I think is very critical to growth. Very critical to growth. In terms of your occupation, are you in school? What exactly do you do in terms of your occupation?
Oh, I'm a person of many hats.
Okay, tell us about these hats. Tell us about these.
I am a person of many hats. Right now, my sole occupation, I work for myself as of now. I am a personal trainer.
Oh, beast.
I haven't been a personal trainer long, but I did get my certification during the pandemic.
Wow.
I am also an esthetician.
What's an
so an esthetician is somebody that is licensed to work with your skin.
Oh, wow.
So if your girlfriend likes to go get facials and stuff like that, she will go to an esthetician. I am also a nanny.
Wow. Yeah, a whole different hat.
Yep. I'm also a nanny, but I'll be going back to school this fall to get my degree. I started it last year, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep. I started it not last year. 2019. Yeah, 2019.
Nice.
I went back to school in 2019. I took a break. Just to kind of help my daughter transition from elementary school into middle school. And, we're moving into another milestone. This coming school year will be her last year of middle school. And then we're moving on to high school.
High school, yeah.
So, just taking things slowly. So I'll be going back to school. I want to become a physical therapist assistant. And that's where my fitness journey is leading me.
Oh, wow. Wow. That is completely dope. So in some sense, it seems like you have always had this underlying fitness attraction or passion. Would you say that's kind of been something you've always had ever since you were younger? Because you said, oh no.
Nope, not at all.
So when did you finally discover that this personal trainer, this physical therapist desire or passion, when did you finally discover that?
As far as like personal training wise goes, it started in 2019, 2020 when the lockdown happened. So I started my fitness journey in 2019. And I'm also a freelance makeup artist.
Oh my goodness.
Like I said, I wear a lot of different hats, and it started with the picture. I did a fashion show in 2018, and I took pictures with one of the celebrity guests. So I sent it out to everybody, and one of my friends, she said, "Why didn't you tell me you were pregnant?" I said, "I'm not." And she said, please don't kill me, but you look 7 months pregnant. I was like,
Wow.
okay, rude,
Right.
whatever. But and granted, I knew she wasn't coming from a place of
It's
hurt.
hard. Yeah.
It did offend me because I'm like, now I'm not that big. Like I know
Right.
I'm on the fluffier side back then, but I'm like, I'm not that big.
Right.
And when I looked at the picture, and God rest my grandmother's soul, when I showed my grandmother that picture, she said, yeah, you look like you're ready to have a baby. I was like, oh, okay, grandma. Like, you know, if you wasn't in the wheelchair, I'd push you out.
Oh,
but I know it's not coming from a place of hurt. It's coming out of a place of love.
You're right.
And as I mentioned, my brother had he had something to say too. And I was like, you know what? I'm about sick of y'all.
They coming after you. What?
They were. And I was just like, why are you bothering me? And he's like, I'm not trying to call you fat or anything. I'm just trying to, I'm saying you could just kind of lose a little bit, tone up a little bit. And I was like, I am fine.
Right.
I was like, I know somebody that like it. So whatever. And then a week later, I called him. I was like, so yeah, is that fitness advice still available? And he's like, yeah, I wasn't trying to be mean.
Wow.
And I'm gonna send my brother this interview.
Please do.
Kenny, if you're watching, I love you. I really do. You've been a big inspiration and a big part of my journey. I love you.
I love it. That is amazing. I mean, so in a sense, it was more of a wake up call in the aspect of people around you. People around you were giving you that wake up call. It wasn't more so that you had it internally. It was
I did have it internally.
Okay.
Because after I had my daughter really young. I had her my senior year of high school. I still graduated. Ooh, it was a challenge.
Yeah.
But as I got into my 20s and I started entering into my 20s, a lot of kids when they're in high school is when they start learning how to drive. Yep. I didn't learn how to drive till I was like 19. So I had to walk everywhere and, use public transportation. And even still after I learned how to drive, back then minimum wage was still $7 or $8. And I'm a new mom. I'm a young mom. So money was kind of, I'm not even going to say kind of tight. It was tight.
It was tight. Yeah.
I was literally living paycheck to paycheck.
Yeah.
And robbing Peter to pay Paul. So I couldn't afford a car. So I still had to use public transportation and walk everywhere. And I think it was my 21st birthday. I was turning 21. So I said, okay, I just need to lose about 15 pounds. And, I want to look good for my 21st birthday. And at that time, I was working for a childcare center.
Okay.
And I worked for their before and after care. So the before care, I would have to, sorry.
No, you're fine.
So the before care, we would have to drop some of the kids off at their home schools and pick them up. And one of the schools that I dropped off at, I seen one of the parents and he was always dressed in black. He looked like he was a athletic coach or something. Okay. And he was a personal trainer. And he owned a gym here in Denver. It's no longer here. So he was like, yeah, here's my card, come by. So I was like, okay, I'm looking for a personal trainer, somebody that can help me. And that was my first time ever working with a personal trainer, and I never went back.
Wow.
And it's not that it was bad or a bad experience, because after, I want to say the following day after my session, I was hurt. I felt like I had been hit by a bus. Every part of my body was hurt. And I was like, is this really supposed to happen? I'm like, and they had me using muscles that I ain't never used before. And I was like, okay, this ain't right. is it supposed to feel like this?
Right.
And it's not that I didn't want to continue. I just couldn't, because of my financial situation, I couldn't afford it.
Yeah.
So I just went through the cycle of, well, I guess I'll just try again next year. Or I would just go through that never ending cycle of I would start a diet, make it to 4 or 5 weeks, and then completely stop. And then I'm going back into my old ways. I was 21, so I was day drinking. What else? Ladies' night started on Tuesday nights and ended on Fridays.
Yep.
And then Saturday was, if you got there before 10 p.m., you got in free.
Got it free. Yeah.
Then if you got there after 10:30, or if you were already there, half price drinks and wings. So I was 21. I was being 21.
Yeah.
You know, but then it was just a perpetual cycle of, oh my God, I don't like how I look, so I should start dieting. And it literally, from the time I turned 21 up until I was 28, 27, 28, after that picture, I was like, something has got to give. And I wouldn't technically call myself the fat friend, but I had some, like, I had a mix of friends as far as like body size and body type goes. I was somewhere in the middle. Like, I wasn't extremely overweight, but I wasn't petite like I was used to being when I was younger.
Yeah.
I was just somewhere in the middle where I just didn't like how I looked. I didn't like how clothes looked on me. I didn't feel good in my body. And like I said, after that picture and after two people confirming that I looked like I was getting ready to have a baby, I was like, something has got to give.
Ooh. It's so funny that you mentioned that, because I noticed that actually that's actually the story of a lot of people. They end up noticing things when they think like things are different type of weight gains when they take a picture.
Oh man,
when they take a picture.
And we know that the camera can add a few pounds, but let me tell you something. All of the pictures, even past videos that I have documented on my journey, and some of them I deleted. I wish I would have kept all of them. Those pictures don't lie. They don't. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but the pictures don't lie. And I'm still convinced, even now where I'm at in my journey, everybody has different eyes. Everybody has different seeing lenses. And for a while, I know for a fact that men and women have different eyes. But when you're on your journey, you realize that men and women still have the same eyes, but yet different.
Facts. Oh, that's straight facts. And I think with those eyes too, you in a sense have to be real with yourself. Like going into that, like how did it take you a long time, or was it a struggle for you to become authentic and transparent with yourself and go, yeah, Shanie, you really need to get this. You need to get this under control. Did that happen immediately when everyone started to kind of say, "Oh, you looking like you're 7 months pregnant," or did it take you some time before you had to go? Yeah,
it took me some. It was like immediately, but also took me some time, because back in 2018, I had gotten fired from 2 of my jobs that I was working. I'm not going to go into detail on why I got fired. Now, if you want me to, that's fine. You know, I'm not, like I said, I ain't scared of nothing.
It's up to you. It's up to you.
I don't promote violence, but you know, don't try me. That's where we're going to leave that. And honestly, getting fired from both of my jobs actually was the best thing that ever happened to me. And, you know, some people look at it as like, well, how could you be glad that you got fired? I'm going to tell you why. Because working 2 jobs, and I've worked 3 and 4 jobs at one time, just trying to take care of me and my daughter. You know, like I said, I have been in financial situations where I've had to rob Peter to pay Paul, where I've had to skip a couple of bills to make sure we had food in the house, or skip a couple of bills and make sure rent was paid. Some days groceries, I could only afford $50 for us to eat
Yeah.
on. Other days, I would have to budget $100 to $200.
Mm-hmm.
So, and being fired from both of my jobs, and at the time, my mother was living with me, and she seen that I was burnt out, and she seen that I was tired, because I would literally come home, and I was working overnight. I was working overnight and in a mid shift. So 2 to 10, and then 12 to 7.
Oh my
so
goodness.
so you already know the effects
yeah.
of what it has on your body.
Mm-hmm.
And how it can, and if you're working in I wouldn't say toxic environment, but a hostile environment, you're literally like a ticking time bomb. And my mom, she was like, maybe you should let one of those go. And I didn't want to let either of them go because they were the perfect pair.
Yeah.
One job was for an airline and the other job was for a hotel. So I had airline and hotel benefits. That was the only reason why I was like, I will work both jobs, because one, it'll provide me with the ability to travel for cheap.
Yeah.
So, which I did get to do. I didn't get to do much of what I planned, but working in a hostile environment isn't good for your mental. So after I got fired from both of my jobs, it was a little bit heartbreaking because it wasn't my fault.
Yeah.
But I could have handled the situation better looking back. But I'm like, it still wasn't my fault. But, it is what it is. But it
looked like it froze up. Hold on one second, Shanie. I'm not sure if you can hear me. All right.
Okay. So as I was saying, being fired from both my jobs at the time, it gave me a chance to really clear my head mentally. It gave me a chance to go back to school because I had took some time off, like a couple months off before I had decided, like, okay, am I going to go back to work or am I going to go back to school? Because I had been wanting to go back to school since my daughter was born. And it gave me a chance to do that. So instead of me going back to work, I went to school.
Wow.
And I failed my first semester because I had bought a gym membership, but I didn't use it for 6 months. And then January of 2019, I was like, you're not going to work. You're just going to school. And I took it slow because I had been out of high school then 10 years. So I was like, okay, I don't want a full caseload, because then if I fail all of my classes, like, let's just start off with 3 to 4, if that, and, just see how it goes. And I failed the first semester. Even though I worked really hard, I failed the first semester because I would rather go to the gym.
Wow.
And I started going to the gym to get my health in order because I was like, all right, something has got to give. So I would take breaks between homework because I was doing online school. I was taking my classes online, and I was like, okay. When it came time for my final projects to be due, I did my final project. And honestly, my final project was, it was about men's mental health.
Oh, wow. What the heck?
Yep. It was about men's mental health and how men can go through postpartum. I mean, I spent almost a month on that project, gathering data, writing my papers.
Your passion.
And I missed the deadline to turn it in.
Because you were gathering information?
Well, I missed the deadline to submit it. So I emailed my professor and I was like, okay, I know this was due and I have it done. And she was like, I'll open the link for 12 hours. And guess what happened? I still forgot.
Wait, what happened this time? How'd you forget?
I don't even remember. I just remember that and it was probably something that I was, as a mom, as a parent,
stress. And it froze up again.
I have mom brain, so trying to remember things, if I don't write a to-do list down, it's probably 5 things that I'm supposed to do. I can't remember. And when I looked at my computer and I went to go submit it, the link was gray. So I was like, no. So I failed the class. I failed the class.
And your fault.
Right. I got a letter from financial aid saying, since you failed, we're taking your financial aid. And if you would like to appeal it. So my grandmother wrote me letters. My pastor wrote me letters. My mama wrote me letters. Like everybody who I could think of. I mean, I was boo-hooing. I was like, this wasn't supposed to be.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And so they had granted my financial aid back. And I took a short summer course. So I did 6 weeks because I didn't want to be in school the entire summer and miss the summer with my babies. So I set myself down and I looked myself in the mirror and I said, no going to the gym until you get your homework done.
So that was a motivation. Was that?
Yeah. I said, you can't go to the gym until you get your homework done. Yeah. Like if you know you have a paper to write, a 5-page paper, you need to at least write a page a day before you go to the gym. If you know you have some chapters to read, you need to read at least 3 to 5 of those chapters before you go to the gym. Like I had to sit down with myself.
Yeah.
I went on a women's retreat that year when I did the summer class and they had a gym. So I brought my gym bag.
Hey.
I was like, look, I can get up 5 a.m, go to the gym, come back before our first session for the retreat, get some homework done. Like I had to mentally prepare myself and I had to mentally give myself some tough love. Like, look, you're not doing this until you get things done. And honestly, that's how I am now in my journey.
Oh, I like that. And from what I'm hearing too, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but it sounds like in many instances, fitness helped discipline you, and not just in your area, not just in fitness.
And we are gonna talk about
I love that. Like, and that's what most people. That's what I see with most people is that fitness isn't just necessarily the sole reason of why they started. They started because there was other things that led into them starting it. Like we mentioned before recording. You mentioned depression, or you mentioned those things. It gives you an outlet through those things. And so could you expand on that a little bit? Just expand on maybe the mental aspect of fitness and how that transition. Yeah, if you can just go into that. Yeah.
And it is an awesome transformation that I wish more people would grab hold on to. You know, I know the fact, like I said, I was never overweight as a child, so I don't know what it's like to feel uncomfortable or have comments about your body and things like that. Like the most comments that I ever got was they used to call me olive oil when I was younger because I was so skinny, but I wasn't like underweight or anything like that. But I was an active kid. I played outside. I stayed outside. I didn't want to be in the house. I was locked out the house because I didn't come home when the street lights was on. So like I was that kid. Yeah. I was playing out. Majority of my neighbors were boys. So I'm outside playing basketball in the street, playing football. 500. This tells my age.
Hey.
You know, learning how to throw football, baseball, everything. Riding my bike. Like, you know, the neighborhood that I lived in was really, it was a community, and all of us that lived there, we all went to the same elementary school, and some of us went to the same middle school.
Wow.
So when it came to my fitness journey now and how the mental aspect of it, I had a lot of trouble with my anger. I wasn't an angry person, but like I said, pray with me, don't play with me.
Hey, exactly.
You know.
Exactly.
And so I lacked discipline in controlling my anger. I lacked discipline in setting boundaries with people. Like I wasn't scared of confrontation, but sometimes there has to be a point of when is too much confrontation too much.